The stars were quiet. The endless black of space stretched in every direction, cold and empty, until a broken ship appeared out of the dark. It drifted without power, without light, like a corpse floating in the void. Captain Aaron sat in the chair of his small salvage ship, the Horizon. His crew stared at the strange vessel on the screen. It was massive, far larger than their little ship, and it looked wrong. Its hull was cracked, burned, and scarred with holes that should have torn it apart. But still it drifted, untouched by time, like a ghost refusing to die. "Signal?" Aaron asked. His second-in-command, Maya, shook her head. "Nothing. No distress beacon, no ID, dead silent. Then why hasn't it broken apart?" whispered Jax, the youngest of the crew. The Horizon moved closer, pulled by curiosity and greed. Salvage crews lived for finds like this. A ship this size could be full of tech, parts, and treasures worth more than all of them could earn in a lifetime. But something about it felt wrong. Too wrong. As they got close, the screens flickered. A faint sound came through the comms. At first it was just static, but then slowly it turned into a whisper. "Human." The crew froze. "Make me yours, human." Jax's face turned pale. "Did you hear that?" "Did you hear that?" Maya's voice was tight. "It's interference. Just the system picking up echoes, but Captain Aaron knew better. That wasn't static. That was a voice. A voice speaking their language." The docking clamps locked onto the broken ship with a heavy thud. The crew suited up and entered the derelict vessel. Inside, the halls were cold, dark, and filled with strange metal patterns none of them had ever seen before. The walls seemed alive, pulsing faintly with a sick green glow. Jax shivered. "This place. It feels like it's watching us." They moved deeper inside, their lights cutting through the dark. The deeper they went, the stronger the whispers became. Sometimes it was a single word. Sometimes it was a laugh. Sometimes it was a soft breath against the ear, even though no one was there. "Yours. Human. Free me. Chains." Every step made the air feel heavier, as if the ship itself was warning them away. But Aaron pushed forward. Something inside him needed to know what was here. Finally, they reached a large chamber. And there she was. A figure sat in the center of the room, bound in heavy chains of glowing metal. She was not human. Her skin shimmered faintly with silver light. Her hair floated around her head like strands of liquid night. And her eyes burned bright violet, locked on them the second they entered. The crew froze. The girl smiled weakly, her lips trembling. Then she whispered, "Make me yours, human." Her voice was soft but powerful. It crawled inside their minds, filling every corner of thought. Jack stumbled back. "Captain, we need to get out." "Right now." "This isn't right." Maya raised her weapon. "She's dangerous." "You can see it. Look at those chains." Why would anyone chain her if she wasn't a threat? But Aaron didn't move. He stared at her. She looked weak, hurt, but her eyes held a fire that no prison could kill. And the way she spoke, she didn't beg, she didn't cry. She commanded as if she already knew he would obey. "Who are you?" Aaron asked. His voice shook despite himself. Her lips curved into a small smile. "I am yours. If you choose me..." The chains glowed brighter, as if reacting to her words. Sparks ran along the walls. The ship moaned, alive and angry. Alarms screamed in the horizon. Maya's wristcom flashed red. "Captain, we're being scanned. Something out there just locked onto us." Aaron's heart pounded. Whoever had built this prison ship, they knew she was here, and maybe, just maybe, they were coming back for her. The girl's glowing eyes burned into his. "Free me, or we all die." The whispers grew louder. The lights shook. The floor trembled beneath their boots. Jax grabbed Aaron's arm. "Don't listen to her. She's playing with your head," Maya shouted. "We don't have time, Captain." But Aaron couldn't look away. This girl, this alien in chains, was something more than a prisoner. She was the key to something far bigger than all of them. The ship roared. The sound of engines, massive engines, echoed through the void outside. Something was coming. Something hunting. And in the center of the chamber, the chained girl whispered once more, her voice clear, sharp, and unshakable. "Make me yours, human." The chamber was silent except for the faint hum of the glowing chains. They wrapped tightly around the alien girl's arms, legs, and neck, locking her to the floor like a beast. The light from the chains flickered, but still they held strong. Captain Aaron's crew stood frozen. None of them dared step closer. The girl's violet eyes moved slowly from one human to the other, studying them like hunters study prey. She looked fragile, weak, even close to death, yet her presence filled the entire room. "Free me," she whispered again. Her voice was soft, but it cut into their minds like a blade. It didn't sound like begging. It sounded like an order. Jax's hands shook as he gripped his weapon. "Captain, this is wrong. She's not safe. Look at her. They chained her for a reason. We should leave now." But Aaron did not move. His eyes stayed on her. "Who chained you?" he asked, his voice low. The alien girl tilted her head, her silver hair falling across her glowing skin. "My own kind." Maya narrowed her eyes. "Your own people? Why would they do that?" The girl's smile was faint, almost broken. "Because they fear me." Her words made the chamber colder. The crew shifted uneasily. Jax muttered under his breath, "I knew it. She's dangerous." The girl's gaze locked onto Aaron again. Her violet eyes seemed to pierce through him. "But you, human, you are different. I can feel it. You are not afraid." Aaron's jaw tightened. He was afraid, terrified even, but he couldn't let it show. Something about her voice wrapped around him like invisible chains, pulling him closer. He took one slow step forward. The chains sparked in warning. A sharp crack of energy filled the air, forcing Aaron to stop. The girl winced but did not cry out. She simply lowered her head, whispering, "They will come soon. They will find me, and they will kill all of you." Maya's comlink beeped. She glanced down, eyes wide. "Captain, she's right. Our ship's scanners just picked up 3 incoming signatures. Warships, big ones. They'll be here in minutes." The crew's panic grew. Jax shouted, "We have to run!" "Forget her. If we leave now, maybe we can escape." But Aaron's gaze stayed on the girl. "Why would they send warships?" "Just for you." Her lips curved into a mysterious smile. "Because I am not a prisoner. I am a prize." The crew's hearts sank. She leaned forward against her chains, her voice rising in strength. "Free me, human. Free me, and I will save you. If you don't, you all die with me." The chamber trembled as the derelict ship groaned around them. Dust fell from the ceiling. The girl's eyes glowed brighter, her power pressing against the walls of her prison. Maya raised her weapon higher. "Captain, don't!" "You can't trust her. For all we know, she's the reason this ship is a wreck. She could kill us the second she's loose." Jax backed away, shaking his head. "We came here for salvage, not this nightmare. We can't get involved." Aaron's hand hovered near the strange glowing lock that bound her chains. His chest tightened with the weight of choice. The girl's eyes locked onto his, her whisper curling through his mind like fire. "Make me yours." The words echoed. The comlink screamed again. Maya's voice cracked with fear. "Captain, 2 minutes until contact. If we don't move now, we're finished." Aaron clenched his fists. Everything inside him screamed to run, to abandon her, to save his crew. But something deeper, something he couldn't explain, rooted him in place. The girl's chains flared brighter, as if sensing his hesitation. Sparks of alien energy bit into her skin. She hissed but did not cry out. Instead, she whispered softer now, almost pleading, "Please, human, do not let them take me again." Her words struck him harder than any weapon. Jack shouted in panic, "Captain, what are you doing? We're out of time!" Aaron's hand hovered over the lock. His reflection stared back at him in its glowing surface. Behind him, Maya's voice grew sharp. "If you release her, you put us all at risk. If you leave her, we might live." The alien girl lifted her head. Tears of silver light traced down her cheeks. Her voice trembled but did not break. "Choose human, them, or me." The chamber fell silent. Only the hum of the chains and the distant echo of approaching engines filled the air. Aaron's heart pounded like thunder. His crew waited, fear burning in their eyes. The alien girl's whisper crawled into his soul, a promise and a curse at once. "Make me yours, human." Outside, the warships drew closer. The countdown had begun. The chamber shook. The sound of massive engines thundered through the walls of the derelict ship. Dust fell from the ceiling like snow. The enemy was close now. Captain Aaron's crew stood frozen in fear. Maya's scanner flashed red over and over. 3 warships inbound. 1 minute until they're on top of us. Jack swore under his breath, his voice cracking. "We're dead. We're already dead. We should have left when we had the chance, but Aaron didn't move." His eyes stayed locked on the alien girl in chains. She sat in the center of the room, glowing softly, her violet eyes burning into him. Even with the world falling apart around them, her voice was calm. "Free me, human. Only I can guide you out. Aaron clenched his fists. Why should I trust you? The girl tilted her head, her silver hair glinting in the dim light. Because if you don't, you'll never leave this place alive. The chains around her arms sparked, sending ripples of energy through the chamber. Her body jerked against the restraints, but she didn't cry out. Instead, she smiled faintly, almost as if the pain was nothing to her. Outside, the warships fired their first warning shot. A beam of green light tore across the hull of the derelict, shaking the entire vessel. The crew nearly lost their balance. Maya screamed over the comm link. "Captain, they're charging weapons. We have to get back to the horizon now." But Aaron couldn't turn away. His chest was tight, his mind screaming at him to run, yet something deeper held him there. Something about her voice, her eyes, her very presence. Jax grabbed his arm. "Captain, for God's sake, she's lying. She'll kill us the second you let her loose." The alien girl's eyes flicked to Jax. For just a heartbeat, her faint smile vanished. In that moment, her expression was sharp, dangerous. Then it softened again, her gaze sliding back to Aaron. "You know the truth, human. You can feel it." The second shot came. The derelict ship groaned as its walls cracked under the force. If they stayed, they would be buried alive. Aaron's hand hovered over the glowing lock. Maya shouted. Jax begged. The engines roared closer. Aaron slammed his palm against the lock. The chains exploded with blinding light. A sharp crack split the air as the restraints shattered into fragments. Energy surged through the chamber, lifting everyone off their feet. The girl let out a gasp, half pain, half relief, as the chains dissolved into sparks. She collapsed to the floor for a moment, her chest rising and falling quickly. Then she lifted her head. Her violet eyes blazed brighter than ever. The entire ship seemed to react to her freedom. The walls pulsed with strange energy, as if the vessel itself had been waiting for this. Maya stumbled back, aiming her weapon at the girl. "What have you done, Captain? You've doomed us all." But the alien girl rose slowly to her feet. She swayed, weak, but her voice was strong. "Follow me." Without waiting, she turned and walked toward the dark corridor. Aaron hesitated only a second before moving after her. "Maya, Jax, come on." Jax cursed but obeyed. Maya's face burned with anger, but she followed too. The alien girl led them through twisting corridors of alien metal. Every path looked the same, yet she moved with confidence, never hesitating. The ship shook harder as enemy weapons pounded its hull. "How do you know the way?" Aaron demanded, running beside her. She glanced at him, her eyes glowing like twin stars. "Because this ship was my cage. I know every wall, every shadow, every hidden door." A final blast rocked the corridor behind them. Fire and debris filled the air. They barely made it through a sealed hatch before the passage collapsed in flames. The girl pressed her hand to a panel of strange symbols. The wall split open, revealing a hidden passage. Maya froze. That's not a door. That wasn't even on our scanners." The girl didn't answer. She simply kept moving. Finally, they reached a hangar bay. Through the cracked ceiling, they could see the stars, and 3 massive warships bearing down on them. Their dark shapes blocked the starlight, weapons glowing with deadly energy. The alien girl turned to Aaron. "Take your ship into the rift." Aaron blinked. "The what?" She pointed to the far side of space. At first it looked like nothing, just a faint ripple, almost invisible. But the longer Aaron stared, the more he realized it wasn't empty. Space itself twisted there, bent like a broken mirror. Maya's face paled. "That's suicide!" "That's not a safe route. It's a gravitational scar. We'll be torn apart." The girl's voice was steady. "No, it is a door, and only I know the way through." The warships fired again. The hangar shook as explosions ripped across the derelict. Aaron's choice was clear. He opened his comm. "Horizon, prepare to launch. We're coming in hot." They sprinted across the hangar bridge, the alien girl stumbling but refusing to stop. Behind them, the warship's cannons charged for a killing shot. The crew reached the horizon just as the hangar began to collapse. The small salvage ship detached and shot into open space. Alarms blared. Weapons locked onto them. "Captain, they've targeted us," Maya shouted. Aaron's hands gripped the controls. "Tell me where to fly." The alien girl stood behind him, her voice calm even as death closed in. "Be toward the rift now." The warships fired. 3 beams of burning light tore across space. The horizon dove straight toward the swirling distortion, toward the unknown, and the girl's whisper filled the cabin once more. "Trust me, human." The horizon tore through the rift. Outside the windows, space twisted like a storm of broken glass. Light bent in impossible ways, and the stars stretched into strange ribbons. The little salvage ship groaned, its frame nearly snapping apart as it pushed through the chaos. Inside, alarm screamed. Sparks flew from the panels. Jax gripped his seat, pale and trembling. "We're not going to make it. We're not going to make it." But then suddenly, silence. The storm of light was gone. The horizon floated in calm, dark space. The stars shone clear again, and the warships were nowhere to be seen. Everyone sat frozen, breathing hard. Maya's hands shook as she checked the scanners. I don't believe it." "They're gone. We lost them." Jax laughed nervously, still pale. "Or maybe they didn't follow because this is a death trap." Captain Aaron turned slowly in his chair. His eyes found the alien girl. She stood behind him, steady, her silver hair floating like it carried its own gravity. Her violet eyes glowed softly in the dim light of the bridge. "You saved us," Aaron said. His voice was quiet but full of weight. The girl tilted her head. "I showed you the path. You chose to walk it." Jack slammed his hand against the console. "She's playing with us, Captain. Don't you see? She could have killed us back there or trapped us. She's dangerous." But Aaron's eyes didn't leave hers. "Who are you?" The girl stepped closer. Her chains were gone, but faint marks glowed where they had bound her skin. She looked fragile, yet there was power inside her that made the air heavy. "My name," she said softly, "is Solara." The sound of it filled the bridge like a secret that had waited too long to be spoken. Maya frowned. "Solara, that doesn't sound like any species I know." Solara gave a faint smile. "Because your kind has not met mine." "Not yet," her voice dropped, sharp as ice. "But you will." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Aaron leaned forward. "Why were you chained? Why were they hunting you?" Solara's eyes lowered. For the first time, her strength seemed to falter. "Because I was born different. My people fear what I am. They would rather see me broken than free." Maya's voice was tense. "Different how?" Solara looked up again. Her violet eyes burned bright, almost glowing. "Power, the kind that bends stars, the kind that breaks empires." A heavy silence filled the bridge. Jack swallowed hard. "So, you admit it. You're dangerous." Solara's gaze cut to him, and for a moment the air itself seemed to thicken, pressing against his chest. He gasped, clutching at his throat until her eyes softened again and the weight lifted. She turned back to Aaron. "I am dangerous. To those who chain me, to those who seek to use me, but not to you." Her voice softened, almost gentle. You freed me. That makes us bound." Aaron felt his chest tighten. Bound. The word echoed inside him like an oath. He didn't fully understand it, but he felt its truth in his bones. Maya stood, her voice sharp. "Captain, we can't trust her. You saw what she just did to Jax, one look, one thought, and he couldn't breathe. What happens when she decides she doesn't like you?" Aaron shook his head slowly. "If she wanted us dead, she would have left us in the rift. Or let the warships tear us apart." Solara's lips curved in a faint smile. She stepped closer to Aaron, her voice a whisper only he seemed to hear. "You see me? You feel it too." For a moment, the world around him faded. Her voice wasn't just sound. It was inside him, wrapping around his mind like warm fire. Aaron blinked hard, pulling back. His heart raced, but not only from fear. Maya slammed her hand on the console. "She's inside your head, Captain. Don't you get it? She's manipulating you." Solara's gaze flicked toward Maya, cool and calm. "I do not need to manipulate. I only speak what is true." The tension in the room was heavy enough to break steel. Then the scanners beeped. Maya's head snapped down. Her face went pale. "Captain, we're not alone." On the screen, faint signals appeared. Not warships, something else. Fast, sharp, closing in from the edge of the rift. Solara's eyes narrowed. "Hunters. They found us," Jax cursed loudly. "We just got out of one nightmare and now we're walking into another." Aaron stood. His hand gripped the console tight. "What do they want?" Solara's eyes burned brighter. "Me, always me. They will never stop." She stepped closer to him again. Her voice lowered, urgent, almost desperate. "But if you stand with me, human, I can give you more than survival. I can give you victory." Her words sank into him like hooks. His crew stared, waiting, afraid. Aaron's chest rose and fell. He didn't know what Solara truly was. He didn't know if she was savior, weapon, or curse. But he knew one thing. Her enemies were coming and his ship would not survive them alone. And Solara was offering him something far greater than survival. Her whisper brushed against his ear, soft and sharp all at once. "Make me yours, human." The horizon shook as the hunters closed in, the next battle already on its way. The horizon drifted in the dark, its engines silent, its lights dimmed to avoid detection. On the bridge, the crew sat tense and restless, their eyes fixed on the scanner. The signals of the hunters blinked faintly at the edge of space, circling like wolves waiting for the right moment to strike. Jax paced back and forth, his voice sharp with panic. "They're out there, just waiting. They know we're weak, and they're gonna move in for the kill." Maya didn't look up from the scanner. Her voice was calm but tight. "They're testing us, seeing if we'll run. If we fire the engines too loud, they'll find us." Aaron leaned back in the captain's chair, his eyes fixed on the alien girl who stood near the viewport. Solara. She hadn't spoken in several minutes. Her violet eyes glowed faintly, watching the endless black as if she could see things none of them could. Finally, Aaron broke the silence. "Solara, tell me the truth. Why do they want you?" Her head turned slowly toward him. For a moment she didn't speak. Then her lips parted, her voice low, steady, almost heavy with sorrow. "Because I was born to rule them." The words sank into the air like a stone dropped into water. Jax stopped pacing. Maya's hands froze over the console. Both of them stared at her. Aaron's voice was calm but sharp. "Rule them? What do you mean?" Solara stepped closer. The dim light caught her silver hair, making it shimmer like liquid metal. Her voice carried weight, every word deliberate. "My people are not like yours. We are bound by blood, by power. When I was born, the marks of the first line burned on my skin. It meant I was chosen, heir to a throne older than your world. But the throne is a curse as much as it is a crown." Maya frowned, her eyes narrowing. "So you're royalty?" Solara's faint smile held no joy. "Yes, but not the kind you imagine. To them I am not a leader. I am a weapon, a tool to hold their empire together. They would use me until nothing of me remains." Jax shook his head. "Then why chain you? Why hunt you down like this?" Solara's gaze darkened. "Because I refused. I would not bend to their will. I would not be their weapon. So they caged me and waited for me to break." Her voice trembled for the first time, but her eyes stayed bright, unyielding. Aaron leaned forward. "And those warships, those hunters, they're not rebels, are they? They're your own people, sent to bring you back." Solara's silence was answer enough. Maya's hands tightened on the console. "So what you're saying is, we're not just caught between pirates and outlaws. We're standing in the way of an entire empire." The weight of her words pressed on all of them. The room felt smaller. The stars outside looked sharper, more dangerous. Jax whispered, "We're dead. We're already dead. No one fights an empire." But Solara stepped closer to Aaron, her eyes locking onto his with a quiet fire. "No one but you, human. You are different. You freed me when all others would have fled. You saw me as more than a prisoner. That is why I need you." Aaron's throat tightened. "Need me for what?" Solara's voice softened like silk wrapping around steel. "To bind me." The word hung in the air, strange and sharp. Maya frowned. "Bind you? What does that even mean?" Solara's eyes never left Aaron's. "In my people's ways, power must be anchored. A bond sealed with choice. Without it, I am hunted. With it, I am unstoppable." Aaron's pulse quickened. "You mean, if I agree?" Her whisper slipped into his mind, burning, tempting. "Make me yours, human, and my power becomes your shield, your weapon, your empire." The bridge fell silent. Jax's voice cracked as he shouted, "Captain, don't listen. She's twisting you. This is all some trick." But Aaron's heart raced. He wanted to believe her. He wanted to trust her. Yet deep inside, doubt gnawed at him. Maya leaned forward, her voice sharp. "Solara, answer me this. If he binds you, what happens to him?" Solara's eyes flickered just for a second. Then she smiled, slow and soft. "He will never be the same." The words chilled them all. Before Aaron could speak, the scanner blared. Maya's eyes snapped to the screen. "They're moving. The hunters, they've locked onto us. They're coming in fast." Red lights flared across the bridge. The horizon trembled as the first blast grazed its shields. Solara's voice rose above the chaos, strong and sharp. "Captain, choose now. Either bind me and live or refuse me and watch your ship burn." Aaron's hands gripped the armrests of his chair, his crew shouting, alarms screaming, the ship shaking apart. His eyes locked on Solara. Her violet gaze burned into him, waiting, demanding. And in the middle of fire and fear, her whisper curled into his soul, soft and certain. "Make me yours, human." The horizon shook again as enemy fire closed in. The moment of truth had come. The horizon shook as enemy fire ripped across its shields. Sparks exploded from the ceiling, smoke filling the bridge. Alarms screamed like dying voices. Maya shouted over the noise. "Shields at 20%. One more hit and we're wide open." Jax gripped the console, his face pale with terror. "We can't fight them. They'll tear us apart in seconds." Captain Aaron's hands clenched around the controls. His heart hammered. Outside the viewport, 3 hunter ships closed in. Sleek black, sharp as blades, they moved with deadly grace. Their weapons glowed, charging for another strike. Solara stood in the center of the bridge, her silver hair whipping around her face as if caught in invisible winds. Her violet eyes blazed brighter than ever. "Bind me, human," she whispered, "and I will show you what I am." Aaron's jaw tightened. Every part of him screamed to say yes, to seize the power she offered. But fear cut through him. What would binding her mean? Would he lose himself? Would she consume him? Another blast struck the horizon. The ship spun violently, alarms shrieking louder. Jax cried out, "Captain, decide. We're dying here." Solara's voice cut through the chaos like a blade. "If you hesitate, all of you will burn." Aaron locked eyes with her. For a heartbeat, the world faded. The alarms, the screams, the shaking. Only her voice remained, steady, commanding. "Make me yours, human." He stood, his chest heaving. "Do it." Solara stepped forward. She raised her hands, pressing them against his chest. Her eyes glowed so bright they lit the entire bridge. The air crackled. Energy surged through Aaron's body, burning like fire and ice at once. He gasped, his knees nearly buckling, but Solara held him steady. Her voice thundered inside his mind. "We are bound." Light exploded from her body, flooding the ship. The horizon groaned but steadied, its systems flaring back to life with power it had never known. The scanners lit up with strange readings, energy surging through every circuit. Maya shielded her eyes, shouting, "What the hell is happening?" Solara turned toward the viewport. Her voice was calm, sharp. "Now they will know fear." Outside, the hunters fired again, but this time the blasts didn't tear through the shields. The energy bent, twisted, and dissolved before touching the horizon. It was as if space itself bent to protect them. Jax gasped. "That's impossible." Solara raised her hand and the stars outside seemed to ripple. A sphere of violet light spread outward, engulfing the hunter ships. Inside the sphere, their sleek vessels struggled, engines failing, weapons flickering. They were caught like insects in a web. Solara's voice rang out low and cold. "They will never chain me again." She clenched her fist. One of the hunter ships imploded, crushed in an instant. The explosion lit the darkness, fragments scattering like fireflies. The bridge fell silent. Maya's voice cracked.
"She just
destroyed an entire ship. With nothing." Aaron staggered, gripping the console for balance. His chest still burned from the bond, but he could feel her inside him now. Her power, her heartbeat, her rage, it was overwhelming. Solara turned to him, her eyes softer for a moment. "This is only a glimpse of what I am." The 2 remaining hunter ships fought to escape the violet sphere. Their engines flared desperately, weapons firing wildly. Solara raised her other hand. "Shall I end them too?" Her voice was calm, but Aaron could feel the storm inside her. The hunger, the fury. It terrified him. He forced himself to speak. "No, not yet. We need answers. We need to know why they want you." Her eyes narrowed, but she lowered her hand. The sphere pulsed once, then collapsed, releasing the remaining ships. They limped back into the shadows, retreating. The horizon floated in silence. The crew stared at Solara in stunned disbelief. Jax whispered, "She's a monster." Solara's gaze snapped to him. Her voice was sharp as a blade. "I am survival." Maya stood slowly, her face pale but hard. "Captain, you can't let this continue. She's too powerful. She's inside our systems, inside you. What happens when she decides we're no longer useful?" Aaron felt Solara's presence inside him. It wasn't just in his mind, it was in every part of him. A bond deeper than words. It frightened him, and yet there was something else. A strange warmth. A sense of connection. He looked at her. You saved us. Solara's expression softened. Because you chose me. For a moment, the bridge was silent again. The crew stood in the shadow of something far greater than themselves, caught between fear and awe. Then the scanners beeped again. Maya's eyes snapped to the screen. Her voice was tight. Captain, we've got a new signal, bigger than the hunters. Much bigger, Aaron's chest tightened. How big? Maya swallowed hard. A capital ship. Full fleet carrier, and it's coming straight for us. The air turned heavy. Solara's violet eyes glowed brighter and her whisper cut through the silence. They will not stop. Not until I am theirs, or yours. The horizon shook again as the massive ship entered range. The war was far from over. The horizon trembled as the capital ship emerged from the dark. It was enormous, a city of steel and fire drifting through the void. Hundreds of lights lined its hull, weapons glowing like burning suns. The hunters were nothing compared to this. On the bridge, the crew stared at the screen in horror. Maya whispered, her voice barely audible. That thing, it could wipe out a planet. Jax gripped the console, his knuckles white. We're done. We're nothing to them. They'll crush us like insects. But Solara stood calm, her violet eyes glowing brighter with each passing second. She didn't look afraid. She looked ready. Aaron's heart pounded. He could feel her power inside him now, pulsing through the bond they shared. It was fire in his veins, heavy and intoxicating. It gave him strength, but it also scared him. Because it wasn't only power, it was her. Her anger, her hunger, her will. The capital ship's comms crackled to life. A deep voice thundered across the bridge. Human vessel, you carry what is ours. Surrender the girl, and you may live. Refuse, and you will be destroyed. Jax nearly collapsed. Captain, we can't fight that. No one can fight that. Maya's voice was sharp, desperate. Aaron, listen to me. We give her up. It's the only way we survive. One girl for all our lives. That's the trade. Solara's gaze snapped to Maya, cold and fierce. If you hand me over, they will not let you live. They will tear your ship apart piece by piece so no one will ever know I was freed. That is their way. Maya's face twisted in anger. And if we keep you, they'll kill us anyway. The ship shuddered as a warning blast lit up the stars. The enemy wasn't bluffing. Time was running out. Solara stepped closer to Aaron. Her voice dropped, softer now, almost pleading. Make the choice, human. Give me to them, and you lose me forever. Claim me, and I will fight beside you. I will be yours. Her words wrapped around him like chains and wings at the same time. His crew's voices blurred into noise. All he could hear was her whisper. Maya grabbed his arm. Captain, don't. She's in your head. Think of your crew, think of your ship. Jax shouted. We're dead men if you don't surrender her. But Solara's hand touched Aaron's chest. Warmth spread through him, burning and alive. Her violet eyes locked on his, filled with fire and something deeper, something almost human. Choose me. Aaron closed his eyes for a heartbeat. He thought of his crew, of his ship, of everything he had sworn to protect. Then he opened them again, his voice steady, clear. I choose her. Maya's face went pale. Jax gasped in disbelief. But Solara smiled. A smile that was both fierce and gentle. She stepped forward, her power rising like a storm. The air on the bridge vibrated. Lights flickered. The scanners screamed as energy spiked beyond measure. Outside, the capital ship opened fire. Dozens of beams tore across space, all aimed at the horizon. Solara raised her arms. Violet light erupted from her body, wrapping the small salvage ship in a shield of living energy. The beams slammed into it and bent away, shattering into nothing. Aaron felt her power coursing through him, through the bond. He wasn't just watching, he was part of it. Her strength flowed into his hands, his thoughts. For the first time, he felt like more than a man. Solara's voice thundered across the stars, carried by the bond. You will not take me again! She pushed her hands outward. The shield expanded, a wave of raw force slamming into the capital ship. The giant vessel shook under the impact, its lights flickering. But it did not fall. The voice returned, angrier, colder. You cannot win, child. You are a spark against the storm. Solara's body trembled, sweat shining on her skin. The bond burned inside Aaron. Her power was vast, but it was costing her. He grabbed her shoulders, forcing her to look at him. Solara, you can't do this alone. Take my strength. Take all of it. Her eyes widened, glowing brighter. The bond deepened, pulling tighter. Aaron gasped as his life itself seemed to pour into her. He felt his heart falter, his body weaken, but her power soared. Together they roared. The violet shield flared like a newborn sun. It expanded, twisting and bending space itself. The capital ship groaned, its hull cracking under the force. Its weapons dimmed, its engines screamed. Finally, with a sound like thunder breaking the universe, the massive vessel split apart, torn in two by the force of their combined will. The explosion lit the stars for miles. Debris scattered across the void. Silence followed, broken only by the fading alarms of the horizon. On the bridge, everyone was still. Maya stared at the screen in shock. Jax fell to his knees, unable to speak. Solara collapsed forward, but Aaron caught her in his arms. Her violet eyes dimmed, her voice a weak whisper. "And you chose me. Now we are bound forever." Aaron's chest heaved, his body weak, but he held her close. "We survived, together." Her lips curved in a faint smile. "This is only the beginning." Outside, the wreck of the capital ship drifted, but deeper in the void, unseen by human eyes, other signals stirred. Stronger, darker, the true storm was yet to come.